Welcome, everyone. You're listening to the Expressed and Orgasmic Living podcast, the show that teaches you how to go from feeling stifled and suffocated in your life to expressed and orgasmic. Here you will receive tips on how to honor yourself, fulfill your desires, and feel truly alive again. I'm your co-host, Renee Faith, Orgasmic Soul Freedom Coach.
And I'm your co-host, Sherrie Linnell, Life Expression Coach. Welcome to this week's episode.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode. I'm Renee Faith, Orgasmic Soul Freedom Coach.
And I'm Sherrie Linnell, your Life Expression Coach.
And today we have a really big topic to talk about. We're calling this episode what? Peace,
Passion
and parenting. Woo! Oh my goodness.
That's going to be fun to talk about, man. Peace, passion, and parenting.
I don't even know where to start. Because the reason I was inspired to offer this episode up was because I was struggling with juggling, right? So the other week, it just kind of came up where my daughter was requesting something of me, and I just had this moment where I broke down, and I was a little short with her, and I had to give myself a timeout because I didn't want to be engaged in this back and forth tit for tat with a child. So
that was me this morning.
That was you this morning.
Yeah.
I had to walk away because that's not the dynamic I wanted. And so, and then that made me think how did I get to that breaking point? Right. I've been trying to balance, being mindful of the kids grieving, not having their father, trying to be mindful of myself going through the same never before experienced year of tenderness and transition, trying to get this podcast and my business going again, right? Plus I have volunteer work on the side, and there's homeschooling full time with 2 kids, and trying to take care of my cat, my poor neglected cat,
Boba. Same thing here with my dog, Butterball. She looks at me as to say, I have to use the bathroom. And I'm like, oh, 1 minute. Right. And then I'll ask my sons or my husband, can you please take her out? And she's just had it with me. I took her out this morning. She was so happy. She was happy for the car ride.
Cute Butterball.
Yeah, but it sounds like you have too many.
There's my cat. Yeah,
there's Bola. Your cup is so full, it spills right over with all that you have to manage, right? Yeah.
It's too many balls juggling.
Yeah, too many balls in the air.
So I guess that's what we're kind of talking about, right? Like, how do we do that juggle? I want to talk about the word balancing. Balance. Is it even a real thing?
Balancing.
Right? And I think there's a question that one of my good friends sent in that I want to talk about also. I want to answer in this episode. But, while juggling, how do you honor yourself and protect your energy? I think that's the crux of it today.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Well, the juggle is the struggle.
Yes.
The juggle is the struggle. Well, to find peace, you have to, I guess, balance your passions with parenting. And you just said, is it even such a thing? Right? And I think in this context that it could be possible. Like one thing you could do is integrate your passions with your kids. It's all about where you put your priorities, I think, and for me, my priority has always been parenting. Like I'm sure most moms are, with their priority is their family, their children. But then you don't want your passions to go off on the wayside, right? So it's like, what do? Well, what do? I involve them in the process.
That's right.
I just involve them in the process. When I have something to do with my business, I will give them something to do, or we'll come up with some ideas for TikTok. We haven't done it yet, but like we just integrate together.
Mm-hmm. That's a good
And that
point.
for me is somewhat of balance, but then it's also micromanaging them because I'm also trying to let go the need to control. And I guess with in business, I do have to hold the reins a little bit, a lot rather, with them. So it comes to a point where, am I wasting time? This is taking up too much time. So now you have to think of a process, a system for for integrating your kids. And
Well,
then
I just wanted people to know that like Sherrie's kids are older.
yes, they're older, much older. They're 15 and 12. See how my brain is fried? I have to think about it. My little ones are not so little. They're 15 and 12, and my oldest is 25.
And I like what you're saying about integrating your passion with the parenting, because I think a lot of adults, maybe more men than women, I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
likes to compartmentalize their life.
Yeah.
And so it ends up being in silos. Business is business, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't talk about business with their family,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think um, that leaves space for breakdowns, communication
Mm-hmm.
breakdowns, connection breakdowns. So
Yep.
I don't know if there's any moms that actually operate this way. I know a couple of men that do. Like they like
Mm-hmm.
to compartmentalize and keep everything in silos, and they don't really bring it all together like you're suggesting now.
Yeah.
I like your idea. I mean, I'm transparent with my kids around my business,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, they see it. We all work from home. We're all, solopreneurs and mompreneurs, and
Yeah.
we homeschool. So when I put up my flip charts with all my thoughts, my notes, my brainstorming, my mind mapping, like they see it. So, and they hear me talk to, clients and friends in this way. So they're very clear about what I do. And if they
Mm-hmm.
have a question or if they want to talk to me, like I invite it. So there is on some level, not to the extent that you do it, because you really do incorporate them in your operations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, on some level, I do that as well. I think that does help.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the coaching side of things, it's more in me, and I can usually do that when they're in school, working on the business for coaching, because I really need that concentration and to get one with myself. But my other business, Manic Isle, that's where they can be more hands-on.
Mhm.
They can stir the wax, they can measure things for me, they can package things for me. So yeah, it's integrating them there.
Integrating.
Yeah.
And back to the word balance, though. I've heard someone say, this was years ago when the kids were little, I've heard someone say there is no such thing as balance, right?
Mhm.
Even because if a child is sick, everything drops,
Yep.
because now you're going to prioritize the sick child.
Yep.
If my business is having an emergency, sometimes we'll do events, right? If there's an emergency, everything else has to go to the wayside, and I need to deal with this
Yep.
emergency. Damage control, right? Like
Yeah.
so is there really a balance? Is it healthy to always maintain a balance? I don't know. I feel like balance, the word itself is a trap for
Yeah.
balance.
Because balance is basically, it only works if you are compartmentalizing everything, like you were saying,
Mhm.
so if you are putting everything in a box, like your work and your family time and then your you time, then I guess in terms of balancing, you're just dividing the day up, and you're dividing the day up into four: your family, your work, your you time, and sleep.
Mhm.
And to me, that's too rigid. I tried that before. It's too rigid because at some point, one of those blocks don't get attention.
Mhm.
And it's usually the you one, the one for yourself, the
Mhm.
peace. You don't get the peace. You don't make time
Yeah.
for the peace.
And to circle back on the very first thing you said, which is peace is really the end result of you aligning with your passion, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And balancing and feeling good around the parenting. When you have that together, then the peace arises. Gosh, with parenting, I got to the point yesterday, I was talking to a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and I just got super clear, like, I know nothing. With parenting, it's such a lesson on humility,
Mm-hmm.
and surrender. And especially for us who are trying to be conscious parents,
Yes.
we're trying to do it differently than our parents did it.
Yes.
There is no roadmap.
Nope.
There's support, there's certain like gentle parenting coaches out there. There's support and community, but really we're winging it.
Yeah.
And so
it kind of reminds me of when we first had our children, like literally when they first are born, we're like, what do we do? What do we do? Right. And then to take the approach opposite of what we were taught and learned, it's, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? So as they have coaches for new moms, what they call doulas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we need a doula for the conscious parenting, the gentle parenting, because I'm not so gentle all the time. I'm very conscious, but I'm not really gentle. I can't be, not with my teens.
Gosh, I think, we just have to have grace with ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's such a healing journey. And we will still be triggered constantly with our kids. And so it's really just being compassionate with ourselves.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine wrote in because she knew we were going to do this episode. So I just want to read the question, and it has to do with passion. So she is also in her 40s like us, and she has 3 kids, 2 teens and a tween. She says, I'm struggling to find my passions again, and it would be awesome to hear how you all discovered or rediscovered yours. Is there a blueprint?
Well, I guess I can speak to this because I have a teen and a tween. My adult son is, self-sufficient. He's good. He's not in this equation at all. He's a grown man. But the first thing I can say with teens and tweens, we're up against their hormones.
Yeah.
That I feel like we're going to lose because their hormones are raging and their temperament is like non-existent anymore. Like with my daughter, she literally broke down because I told her to wake up. And I'm like, wow, okay, stop. And my son, he's got the answers for everything and be wrong. And don't tell him he's wrong, because then we're going to have this ram action, like we're butting heads, So in terms of a blueprint, it's really about patience.
How did you discover your passion though?
Through it all, well, my passion is drumming. Sometimes I have to deal with them telling me it's too loud, or I'm on the phone. Can you not? That's the favorite one. Can you not? And I'm like, what do you mean? Can I not? My house, my drums, I'm playing them. But like, we come to an agreement, if you will, because I expect them to do things. So we set a time, like when are they going to do what they're supposed to do? And when am I going to drum? I'm going to drum between this time and this time, regardless of what you guys are doing. This is what I'm doing. So I'm setting their expectations, and I let them set expectations for me. Like, for instance, their chores. What time and what day are you going to start to do your laundry? Just so that I know. So it's not me telling them when. They've already told me when they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot.
Agreements are key. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it gives accountability to them, because guess who doesn't have clean clothes when they don't do their laundry? Because mommy's not doing it anymore. And as well as the alarm clock. I'm not the alarm clock anymore, for my son anyway. because I feel like he's just way too old to give me that drama. And my daughter too. But she sleeps so hard. It's whew, like you can light a firecracker next to her and she's not getting up. So we'll work on her still. But yeah, it's
so the drumming, did you like, was it always in the back of your mind that, hey, I'm a drummer, I want to get back to it? Or how did you remember?
Well, I wear this shirt all the time.
Oh yeah, look at your shirt. Drummer Girls, what is it?
Drummer Girls United. And it's a self-conscious thing that I'm telling myself that I'm a drummer, no matter what level I'm at, you know. And I have a jacket, a sweat hoodie jacket that's the same branding. And I have a face mask that's the same branding. So I'm engulfed in the idea that I am a drummer. You know, and even my kids picked it up that when I'm out and about and I don't have a drum near me, but if I hear a song with a kick-ass drum, I'm doing the motions. I'm just, you know, doing the thing. So they get it.
So it's like, you don't really forget your passions, right?
No.
Is what I'm getting from you and what I'm seeing in my life. You don't really forget your passions. And I love how you're trying to like embody it and keep that energy of drummer in your life through your actual gear, which then will manifest into, you know, making time for it, right? So I get that. So number one, for those of you out there trying to figure out like, how do we realign with our passions? Number one is to realize that you never really forgot your passions. It's within you. It's a facet of you, right? So my, for me, it was so funny. Over the last like 10, 12 years after pregnancy, you know, and gaining weight, I always said, you know, even though I don't look like an athlete, like I don't have an athlete's body, I feel like an athlete. I'm really an athlete inside. And that's how I would get around the shame of like not being fit, even though I feel like I was an athlete. Like I grew up playing handball. I played basketball in college. I had personal training. I ran a marathon in my early 20s. I enjoy being athletic. I enjoy sports. But I lost it. I kind of lost my way after pregnancy, right? And so now that the separation has happened, I realized that was a mismatch. I was literally acknowledging all those years. There's this mismatch. I feel like an athlete inside, but I don't look like an athlete. So I would say to folks like, hey, if you look in your life, study your own language. Where is the mismatch? Right? Like you were saying, well, I'm a drummer. And there was a mismatch because you weren't actually drumming.
Yeah.
If you find those areas of mismatch, energetic mismatches, then that's something to really explore, look at, and see if you want to change, right? So that would be one of my first tips. Find that mismatch.
Yeah, find the mismatch, and once you do find the mismatch, own it. Like own it and align yourself. Like me, you know, I wear these shirts all the time. I have one in a different color. I might wear it in the next episode. Who knows? But yeah, just you like you said, you never forget your passions. And for me, my advice is to have something with you at all times. You know, you affirm that you are what your passions are, and have something with you to remind you of that every day. Right. And that's really all I got about that.
And you're embodying it. So it's like, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to realign with that. So first is identify the mismatch.
Like I have another example. Photography. When I was doing my photography work, I was badass with it, right?
Yes.
But that did not supersede my drumming passion, right? And I've always wanted to drum since I was a kid. Since I was, I can't even remember. From the first time I saw Sheila E., her being a woman and her drumming The Glamorous Life, that was it for me. That's when I wanted to play. And photography too. I had a camera and all this other stuff, but it was, the mismatch there was, I really wasn't embodying myself being a photographer. I was just really trying to monetize it, and it gave a different energy. And that itself was a mismatch for me.
Gotcha.
And I don't really do it anymore. But drumming, there's no monetization. I do it for the pure joy of it.
We're creatives.
Yes.
Right? I think every human being is a creative.
Yeah, so, we all create something.
So like, you know, for me, it was oil painting. I used to love oil painting. Why am I not doing it anymore? I don't know. I have all these excuses in the world, right? I even got, what is that called? Because in oil painting, you use this thing, turpentine, to clean your brushes, and it's super toxic. But I even got the non-smelling turpentine, and still I didn't do it. So at some point this year, I would love to get back to oil painting. It's a way to express, it's a way I used to express myself, and I really enjoyed it. And so you want to find these little things. So even if you can't locate or identify what we're calling a mismatch energetically, like just listen to your language. Where are you saying, I've always wanted to? I wish I still did XYZ, right?
Yeah.
Check in with yourself because it's still there. How do you rediscover your passion? It's still within you. Just look at your language and feel into the energetic mismatches.
And I dare say this, that a lot of information out there around passion is really about it's about monetizing your passion. Like I hear about, you find your passion, you work and do what you love to do for your work, and that's lined up to your passion or something for that one way or another. They tie passions with your work. So I like to drum. So therefore, my goal is to be in a band. It's not, but that's what that whole line of talk about passion is right now.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, so passion doesn't have to line up as a business. It really could just be the pure joy of it.
And the joy of it, yes.
And honestly, the money will come if it's meant to be. It'll come. It doesn't have to be your number one priority, because when it's your number one priority, I find it never comes. But just the pure joy of it, people see that you're doing it and you're loving it. They'll say, hey, can I like commission you for this? You know?
The joy of it. I love that you said that. And we're so in tune, because that's literally exactly what's in front of me in my notes. The joy you be is what attracts the success, right?
Yep.
People get caught up in the head. So when you're talking about passion, we're talking about heart space.
Right.
Right? I want people to be super, super clear. Like, you can't be in both the head and the heart at the same time.
Yeah, right.
It's two different destinations. It's two different trajectories.
Yeah.
So if you want to be happy, if you want to find that balance where you're just kind of lit up in your life and your soul, and you're accessing orgasmic soul freedom, you've got to be in the heart space as you tune into your passion. And when you choose your passion, like Sherrie was saying, instead of monetizing it, just for the joy of it, let's practice it, whatever it be. It could be dance and movement, whatever it be. Because when you get into, hey, well, how do I monetize it? Because I want to do what I'm passionate about and replace my soul-sucking job, right? Like if you come from that angle, then it starts to feel heavy. It starts to get a little muddy, and then you start to feel the pressure, right? And the heaviness in your chest as you're thinking about it. Let's remove that, because if you simply said, let me just insert a little bit of time where I can exercise whatever this passion is, and slowly start to energetically realign yourself with the joy and the freedom, because it's freedom in your passion. What exists at the core of your passion is freedom and joy. And so as you slowly align with that, things will fall into place.
Yes.
It's my truth and my belief.
Yeah. And funny, what will inevitably happen is that you'll find your peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You'll find your peace. And what's really important, you commit to it, right? And for me, the best way to commit to something is to put it in my calendar. If it's not in my calendar, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, so for me with drumming, it's in my calendar from 6 to 8, between 6 and 8. I don't want to do that to my poor neighbors. I don't want to be drumming for 2 whole hours straight, but between 6 and 8, that's my drumming time. And yeah, like I said, I keep it in my calendar. It's in there. It reminds me on my Alexa app. You experienced that before to remind me that we're doing this this podcast. And yeah, you commit to your passions. If they're your passions, you'll commit to it in some way, shape, form, or another. Right?
Talk about what happens the longer you wait to realign with your passion.
The longer you wait to realign, what'll happen is you'll have like deep regret and sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just you'll feel like as time moves on and you're not practicing what it is you're passionate about, you'll feel like you don't know how to do that anymore. And
confidence goes down.
Yeah, your confidence goes down, your self-esteem on some level goes down, and then you will slip into a depression. You will slip into some degree of a depression.
Yeah.
And once it hits that point, you really have to take care of yourself, because once it gets to that point, it'll be kind of hard to start again. Right? So we don't want to get you out into that point.
Don't
So
wait.
just do a little bit every day or every other day or every week. It's just a commitment. You have a date with your passions this week.
Love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for some people, they get stressed out about like, what is my one passion that will set my soul free?
Uh-huh.
But and that's pressure on yourself. Like, what is my soul's purpose? Let me get super clear about that first before I move ahead and make time for whatever I feel. So I would invite people to just explore, have fun with the process and go, well, what is my passion? What brings me joy? Maybe passion is too big of a word for some. What brings me joy? And it's
happiness.
Say again?
And happiness.
And joy and happiness.
Yeah.
What would make me feel light, right?
Yes.
And slowly work your way. It's an energetic shift that we're talking about. Everything to us, to Sherrie and I, is energy, right? When we work with people and clients, it's all energy. So it's slowly shifting your energy, creating that space for joy and happiness. And the more you invite it in, even if it's slow steps, like, let me go get a manicure. Let me take time for me. It brings me joy to see my nails done, right? I have a friend who's so funny. She was like, I do my toes. I love doing my toes because when I do my yoga poses and I come down to my feet, I'm like, oh, my toes are so pretty.
You're right. You know, you'd be surprised at what will surprise you and invoke joy in you.
The little things.
The little thing.
And it shifts your energy little by little. So don't pressure yourself and trying to figure out, well, what is my soul's purpose that I can monetize, like Sherrie was saying, right?
Yeah. Yep. But don't and don't feel guilty about it. In terms of like parenting, we tend to feel guilty when we take time for ourselves. I say let's not do that anymore. Why? Because our children are people too. And guess what? They take a lot of time for themselves with no regret or shame. They're going to get their happy on. So we could get our happy on too. Right?
And that's what we're trying to circle back to, isn't it? It's that joy, freedom, and that magical sense of self that felt so empowering and good in youth. We're trying to get back to that. We lost our way as adults.
Yes, we did.
Again, pushing ourselves, our needs down because society says you have to make this kind of money and be a provider for your family. And because people said you have to be like this to be a good parent, otherwise you're failing at parenting.
Yeah.
Right? I love that you brought that up. It's really circling back to letting our inner child out, letting our inner artist out, our inner athlete out, right?
We should definitely talk about that in another episode about the inner child and how special it is when you connect with them again.
Oh, juicy. Yes.
Oh yes, that's juicy. I could go on for hours about that because I'm currently working with my inner child. I have a vision board with my baby self when I'm like happy and smiling, and I look at it and I say, what do you need today?
Oh, I love it.
I'll say, what do you need today? And then I'll just sit down and meditate, and it'll come to me what I need today. And I abide by that.
I love it. And you're very clear on what works for you, right? So you have the drummer shirts, you have the drummer mask and all that stuff. And then your actual like baby picture on your vision board. So you're very visual.
Yes.
You need to like embody, it's very physical for you.
Yep.
When I work with clients, it's always in the mind's eye to look at your inner child in your mind's eye and talk to your inner child there. But I love it. I love your process. That's so great.
Yes, yes.
Powerful.
Yeah. And I've tried it without the visuals. I am clearly a visual learner. That's why when you pull out your flip chart, I'm like, yes. Why am I not doing the flip chart thing?
Gotta get a flip chart. Go to Staples.
Yes, I do, because I got so excited. Was Renee's got a flip chart. She's going through it. She's circling things, and she's like, "You put it all here," and it just everything just connects, and it makes things easier. And I like ease. Ease does not equal lazy. Ease equals peace to me, right? And so all of this stuff, it may seem like a lot with me, like going through this, wearing that, and with the picture of myself, like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. Well, that's what works for me, and it's easy for me to do that. But maybe someone else, for someone else, what I would say to them is figure out how you learn something.
Mm-hmm.
Once you figure out how best you take in information, whether it be visual, audio, hands-on, then you'll be able to really, I guess, manifest the passions and manifest the action to do the passions. Mm-hmm. Right? So like this activates my passions. This activates my happiness. Like, yeah.
I like the word activate. I like that word. So again, step one is to identify your passion, which is, where's the mismatch in your energy? You're saying, I really feel like this inside, but on the outside in life, it's not happening. So identify the mismatch and then implement it. Or like Sherrie said, activate it in the best way that you can.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe it is just doing a vision board for some people as a first step.
Yeah.
But and I love how you plug things into your calendar to ensure that your passion, your needs, your heart, your joy is going to be, maybe not more priority than your kids in some weeks, in some moments, but close enough. Like you're taking care of you. Get it in your calendar.
Yeah, get it in your calendar. It's something that you need to close out your day knowing that you did it.
Yeah. So me and my running, right? So this year I've been running, I've been working out again. It feels good. And at some points I did feel guilty because when I'm running, I'm not with my kids, right? And I'm a single mom. So now my kids are, home alone for the 40 minutes or whatever. As I go run by the trail. I mean, and they're fine. My kids are older. So they can be home alone. But the guilt still creeps in. So you've got to really manage your energy and your thoughts as you flex that mastery muscle. So there's that phrase again, right? As you flex that mastery muscle on choosing you, honoring yourself and making time for you.
Right. Like I could tell you like this, if you have multiple children and you want an ice cream for yourself, you feel guilty and therefore you feel like you have to, pay for everyone to have ice cream. And this is something that my husband plays the tape over. He goes, I'll say, I want a milkshake. He goes, oh, then we got to get a milkshake for them and them. I'm like, no, we don't. This is for me. This is not for them. I want the milkshake. They can't have one, and I don't feel guilty about it. I'll drink my milkshake and say, this is something that I need today. And another time we'll get you a milkshake for the family or a thing like that. So I use the milkshake as an example of having kids doesn't mean they have to be inclusive of everything that you do. So take that in a little bit. Your kids don't have to be in everything that you do, but it could be nice. It depends. They don't have to be inclusive of every day of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Take that time for you.
Right.
Take that time for you. Get what you need. And I think, this. Okay, we're gonna have to cut this out because I lost my thoughts here.
I want a milkshake. We don't have to cut it out. I want a milkshake now.
In those instances, I might say to the kids, like, don't compare. Like, mommy needs what mommy needs right now.
Right. I like that. I'll use that. Don't compare.
Don't compare.
Yeah, don't compare your needs to mine because you don't
Yeah.
need it. You want it. I need it.
Yeah. It's modeling the whole way through. It's modeling, like, tune into your needs, tune into your passions. Don't forget it. Right. And that's the best gift we can give our kids. Like earlier I was talking about parenting and how we know nothing.
Yeah.
As we're talking, and I'm realizing it's just modeling for them how to be the happiest human being you can be.
Yeah.
And I say to my kids all the time, as long as you give yourself permission to be happy and you remember God, for me, that's everything. Like, I don't have to worry about you. Like, if you put your happiness first and you remember God, I don't have to worry about you. I could die tomorrow and I realize my kids will be good because they got God and they know to give them, prioritize themselves.
Yeah.
So permission to be happy starts with us.
Yeah.
Trickle down to our kids.
Yeah. Yep. And not feeling like you owe society any explanations doing what you do.
Unapologetically.
Yeah.
So there it is.
There it is.
Find your passion. Where's the mismatch? Implement it. Activate it in your life unapologetically.
Yeah.
And then see the peace creep in to your energy. Yeah. And by being the joy, being the peace, you will attract success and attract all good things. I'll say this one story real quick. So my an old boyfriend of mine from a long time ago, he lost his job as a property manager of some property in New Jersey or whatever. And he was like, I don't know what to do. His passion, because he was an Ironman, he had completed many Ironman races. He said, I'm gonna try my hand at my passion, which is personal training. So now he just took a baby step and aligned with his passion. So he got himself a job at a gym. By simply being in that joy, somebody came and tapped him, and you referred to this earlier too. Somebody came and tapped him and said, hey, I need a swimming instructor, a trainer for Navy SEALs.
Wow.
So he got a job training Navy SEALs how to swim.
That's big.
But I'm saying that opportunity could have come in if he was in his head. How do I monetize my passion?
Right.
How do I, so instead of being in his head, he just did baby steps and brought passion, brought joy into his life.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
It's a slow, energetic shift, but it'll open up like floodgates if we just start inviting that joy in. Feel good. Like, that's the answer to everything, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Line up with what feels good.
It is. And watch your confidence just shoot right up. It skyrockets.
It changes you. Yeah.
Yeah. That reminds me when I first started drumming, when I was still getting lessons, I was picking it up so well that the guitar teacher came over and told me that she has a band that plays, and she goes, she would love for me to come in and do like just do a groove. There's no fills or anything like that. I was like, oh my God, I don't know. I was like, I don't know, but I agreed to do it. And it didn't happen. Unfortunately, she had something tragic happen to her. So it got canceled, and it is what it is, but that opportunity came about. I wasn't even expecting it. And that could have led to something. I see the possibility of what that could have been.
Yeah. Just
all because I decided to do what my inner child wanted to do, and that was to play the drums.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So what great stories. Like, follow I'm trying to find a good metaphor, because I say God breadcrumbs.
I was getting ready to say that. What happened to breadcrumbs? Just go with it.
The passion breadcrumbs. Follow the passion breadcrumbs.
Yes, follow the breadcrumbs.
And possibility opens up. Possibility opens up. So don't don't feel daunted by this process
Yeah.
of trying to juggle passion and parenting, to attain that peace, right?
Yeah.
You can do it. We believe in you. And,
Yeah.
I want to see everybody. I want to see all moms. Can you imagine if all moms in the world were lit up with their
Yes.
passion?
I mean, after all, female was the blueprint.
Yes, yes. There you go.
So how powerful would we be if we all collectively
Mm,
found this balance, and we'll just energetically change the world just because we're all in tune with each other, and
yeah.
it'll
So
be amazing.
and how healing would be for the whole new generation.
Yes, yes, because we're nurturers too. And we nurture our children. We heal them by, like you said, modeling for them. And we break generational curses.
Yeah. I want my kids to grow up, think back on me and go, my mom was happy.
Yes.
Mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big one. That was a big one. That was something I did struggle with because I have bipolar disorder, and with that comes depression. And I really did not want my kids to see that and look back when they're older that their mom was on the couch all the time, and now they don't see that. They see that I'm up and moving and everything. And I'm hoping that that changes whatever perception that they had of me. I hope they still don't have that with me, so that of me, so that they can carry it on into their adulthood and say, my mom went through hell and back.
Yeah. Survivor.
Yeah, she's a survivor. So that's what I hope for them.
Yeah, that definitely. And they'll, that sense of achievement and triumph. And that's I'm sure that's something they're proud of.
Yeah, yeah. And that they can get over anything too, because we're strong.
Yes.
And we're like, we nurture them and motivate them and give them the empowerment just to be who they are, be expressive, and just know that nothing can stop them. We have to believe it for ourselves. Nothing can stop us, and therefore nothing can stop them. Yeah.
Everything's, for our kids, I think. I mean, it's definitely for us, but as parents, I think as moms, that motivates, that can be a bigger motivator, right?
Because even still, like, we're trying to break these generational curses. At the end of the day, our parents and their parents, they legit try to do the very best they could with us, I think, with what they had and what they knew. And so that's the same for us. We're doing the very best we can with what we know and what we do. And we'll make some mistakes, but we learn from those mistakes, and we can explain those mistakes to our kids. Like, we can hold ourselves accountable to them and say, hey, I'm still learning this mom gig. This is a mom gig. I'm still learning it. Do you realize I'm going to be a mom for the rest of your life? So I'm just trying to figure it out too.
Yeah.
And they'll get it. Yeah, they'll get it.
Yeah. Yes. I think over and over again, have compassion for yourself, and just keep choosing you.
Yeah.
Keep choosing you and realigning. It's a constant process. It's not like there's a destination, you get there and you're done.
Yeah. No.
Right? Because like I said, there is no such thing as balance. If there's a sick child, if there's an emergency in your business, if something else happens with your extended family, your parent needs, care, you're going to have to shift. So we're always constantly pivoting, and that's fine. Just accept that that's the journey.
Yeah.
And always circle back to, okay, let's take a moment. What's my passion? Let's realign, because I matter too.
Yes.
I matter. And for me to show up for my children, my parents, etc., I need to matter for me to show up the right way for them. Right. So if you keep that mindset and just circle it back, It doesn't have to be honoring you 24/7. That's not
Right,
what I'm
right.
saying.
Yeah.
So just find those times and do the best you can to achieve that balance, because you do matter.
Yeah.
Matter. We want to see every mom in our community lit up with their passion. So drop a note below in the comments. Let us know what you rediscovered your passions to be, what you're going to implement and activate in your life, and how you're going to do it. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. We would. Drop those comments in, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share with, with your friends, your girlfriends, your mom friends, and let them know that we're here. We are conversations. It's juicy. We have these juicy conversations. So tell them to tune in and watch us too.
Yeah, I love talking with you, Sherrie.
Yes, of course. I love talking to you too. You're so fun. And I'd like to see Boba make his appearance. My dog,
across the street.
She's looking at me and she's just like, get off already. Come love on me.
Well, we're going to go do that. We're going to love on our pets now. Thank you all so much for tuning in, watching the whole episode, staying with us. Do connect with us in the comments. Check us out on our web pages, SherrieLinnell.com, ReneeFaith.com. If you resonated with us, see what we're offering up on our websites. I adore you guys for being here. Keep sending us notes in the comments. We love connecting with you. Till next week, to the next episode. Have a good one.
Goodbye. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this new episode, and if you did, please leave us a like and subscribe. Also, feel free to let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Get in touch in the comments and visit us on our websites, ReneeFaith.com and SherrieLinnell.com, to learn more about how we can serve you on your journey. All links below in the description. See you next week's episode. Bye now.